Hey everyone, welcome to the next installment of the Karchermakes Vlogmas 2024. And we're going to wrap up the first week of Advent today with days 7 and 8. Day 7, so we are about to head out to our little town's Christmas parade. So got all the hand knits on today. Gotta be warm. I think it's 30 some, maybe 40 some degrees outside. So great time to wear all these lovely hand knits. But let's open Advents. Let's start with FrogIt yarns today. We've entered the purples, y'all. Look how pretty this is. Nice and speckly. Love it. Up next, Rising Tide Fiber Company. P.S. 7 is my lucky number. Today's 7. Ooh. So we're continuing our greens, but we're kind of going into blues. Look at this. And this one is called Gumdrop Mountain. Beautiful. So there's our day 7 Advent openings. So now that you're all caught up on day 7, let's talk about day 8. So I have progress on my Freckled Whimsy socks. The colorway is called Merry and Bright. And here they are. I'm doing these in tandem. And days 7 and 8 are these peachy, orangey colors, and it really makes me want orange sherbet. I need to go to the grocery store later and I may come home with a tub of orange sherbet. This has me craving it. So I was quite productive yesterday, in addition to going to the parade, which you've already seen footage of. So I have a finished object, and I have a new cast on. So let's talk about those. We're gonna start with the finished object. I finished my Bauble with Baubles, pattern by Stacey, the knitting tutor, for the Bauble Along 2024. And I will say I made a few mistakes in this. Firstly, I've never done this type of bauble before. The instructions were fairly clear, but they don't look as bobbly as the sample picture looked. They're not as pronounced. But in any case, it still looks fine. And then I did mess up my counts on the final purl row, so my little lines are going the opposite direction. They should have all been going this way, and this last one's going this way. But it's a Christmas ornament. Who's gonna know? Me, no one else. So this will be joining the rest of my handmade ornaments on my small little tree, and I'll insert some footage of that here so you can see some of the other handmade ornaments I've previously made that's on that tree. So next up, let's talk new cast on. So as I mentioned in the last Vlogmas installment, I mentioned I really wanted to start the Shift Cowl by Andrea Mallory, and yesterday I finally pulled out all my hand spun and I made some selections for that. And not only did I select the yarn, but I caked them up and I cast on, and I have started officially. So let's take a look. So my yarn cakes are pretty big for this project, so I have it here in this giant Tanny Casey bag. I bought this probably 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. But it's this giant canvas zipper bag, and look how pretty this artwork is on the fabric. Love it. It's everything that I love about Christmas. Snowmen, candy canes, little houses, little trees. It's so cute. Love it. I tried to choose 3 different hand spuns that kind of coordinated but also had some contrast, and these are the ones I ended up with. But these are all yarns that I spun, and I've mentioned this here before, but for all the new subscribers, by the way, thank you for being here. I noticed a jump in subscribers and I really appreciate that. But for the new subscribers, I was a bad beginner spinner. I am a bad beginner spinner, and I did not label any of this. So I have no idea what these are, what fibers they are. I had to guess at the yarn weights just based on how many grams they were and how kind of thick they were. And we'll get into that in a second as I talk about casting on the project. So here's all the yarns. I do have some other hand spun that I can incorporate if I get low on any of these. And I think this is a good project where you could really mix in a lot of different yarns, colors, just due to the nature of the fabric and the way that it's made. So what I chose to do, because my yarn is a little thicker than the sport weight yarn that the pattern calls for, it calls for spin cycle sport weight, I chose to go up to a US 6. I haven't decided yet, this is where I'm at, I haven't decided yet if maybe I should have went up to a 7. So far I like the fabric, it's still really squishy and soft, and it's not too stiff, and I think blocking will obviously help that, but I think I'm good with the 6s. This yarn is very much more in places because it's not consistent. It's probably closer to a DK weight than it is a sport weight. But there's the beginning of the Shift Cowl by Andrea Mallory featuring my hand spun yarn, and I love it. Now let's talk Advent. So first off, I do want to show the yarns that I've gotten so far through week 1. And we're gonna start with FrogIt yarns. Here's the yarns so far. Day 1's here, and it progresses in this direction. So each day as I was opening, I kept mentioning, oh, it's pink, it's pink, it's pink. But these are very, very different pinks, as you can see, with them all kind of spread out next to each other. And then yesterday started into the purple. So I'm really curious to see what today is gonna bring for these. But there's all the FrogIt yarn ones for week 1. And here we are with the week 1 advent of Rising Tide Fiber Company. And again, this is Candyland theme, 10 gram minis. The FrogIt yarns is 20 gram minis, watercolor winter theme. And this was day 1 starting here, and they progressed this way. So started out very colorful, moved into some bright greens, and now we're moving into some other colors like purples and blues within this green. So again, I'm very curious to see what today is going to look like and how we're going to add to this. And as of right now, I just have these strung on a pair of circular needles. Like, it works. It's not stupid if it works, right? I'll probably take out some just scrap yarn and put it on scrap yarn so it's not as like sharp and pointy, and I may need these needles for something, who knows. But here's where we are so far. Week 1, Advent. Now let's see what we have for day 8. And so FrogIt Yarns also sent a couple packs of goodies. One says surprise, one says goodies, and we're gonna open one of those today. I've been waiting. So I pulled out the goodies. We're gonna open these. So let's just start with FrogIt Yarns today then. Okay, we're definitely going into the purples here. There is day 8. A little bit more saturated and specklier than yesterday's purple, but we're clearly moving into the purple direction, which I love. Purple is one of my favorite colors. And let's see what goodies. Let's see what goodies we have. We got stitch markers from Bluebird Makery, and if you did not see my video on Frederick Fiber Fest, you can go back and watch that. Bluebird Makery had a gumball machine that you put a quarter in and then you got a little prize. It was so fun. I love that idea. But these are from that same maker. So Bluebird Makery, they're these little frog themed, of course. Tasha, Brian, Bluebird Makery, you guys are brilliant. I love these little frogs, yarns, lily pads, a heart. It's so cute. I'm gonna use these immediately. I'm gonna put these on my projects right now. Okay, now we have day 8 for Rising Tide Fiber Company. Let's see, is it gonna be green? So we have 2 yellowish greens and then 3 more greeny greens. Let's see. It's not green. Look at this blue, but look at this. Look at this blue. So pretty. I personally love blue. Here we have our day 8 advents. So for the mystery gnome along, the Friday, the update was for a recipe. It was either a tort or a tart. It kind of looked like a pie. But I may, when I go to the grocery store later, I may get the ingredients for that because it looked really, really good. And, you know, we could all use a treat, right? And then Saturday was more of Gnana's story, which is so creative, like to come up with a whole storyline and then breaking it into clues with actual knitting pattern clues sprinkled throughout. Like, just the amount of work that goes into this is amazing to me. But today was the next knitting clue. So I downloaded the pattern. I haven't had a chance to even look at it yet, but I'll probably be working on that later this evening, along with the shift cowl. I really am excited about working on that and working with my hand spun. So thanks for being here for this installment of Karchermakes Vlogmas 2024, all the advent making. I really appreciate that you're here watching. I appreciate that you subscribe and like this video. And until next time, happy making.